My gosh. Thank you. Sorry, what a way to start. Hey, what's going on, guys? We're back again with another video. Today, I'll be going live to discuss all the things related to Arsenal news today. Live updates on the situation of Ebrice Eze as he returns to London back from his holiday this week. Live updates brought to you from Ben Jacobs himself on the situation of Arsenal's genuine interest in Real Madrid's winger Rodrigo, Newcastle's Anthony Gordon, and AC Milan's Rafael Leao. And what that move kind of depends on a sale of Leandro Trossard or Martinelli to leave Arsenal. Hi, Joe. Thanks for watching. Sorry, guys. It's been 5 years of doing YouTube. I survived a vehicle collision, but I'm still here to give you guys a day late of Arsenal news. With that aside, we are going to also be discussing the Viktor Gyokeres situation. A deal has finally been struck and agreed yesterday for £63.4 million. I think that's in euros, actually. So let me just correct that. From what 63.5 million euros plus 10 million euros in add-ons. So that equates to about 55 million in pounds, according to what David Ornstein said. We are also going to be talking about Madueke passing his medical to Arsenal today. He did already go for his medical, and it's already been posted that he successfully passed his medical. He will be the backup right winger to Arsenal, which would mean that Bukayo Saka finally gets a rest in cup games or games where we're leading 3-0 up or 4-0 up. It wouldn't be an issue anymore. For the past 3 seasons now, we've been saying, we've ran Bukayo Saka to the ground. We finally have a viable backup to play that backup right winger position. With that being said, Arsenal finally today wrapped up the signing of Christian Mosquera from Valencia. I think this is a good signing for us. And more importantly, the fee that we agreed upon for the signing of Christian Mosquera was good business from Andrea Berta. And, I hold my hands up as someone who wasn't really fond of us getting Andrea Berta as our sporting director. This man has wrapped up 3 deals, and it's not 3 basic deals or random Brazilians like Edu would in the span of the past 3 business days, while clubs like Man United still working on begging Brentford for Embuemo. The fee for Christian Mosquera agreed upon is 15 million euros plus add-ons, a deal not exceeding 20 million euros. This transfer window, sure, the club can win the transfer window, but this is the best transfer window I've seen Arsenal do in all time. Yes, we've signed Ozil on deadline day. We've had some spoiled transfers in a player or two on deadline day, but in terms of us getting a revamped midfield, getting a prominent striker, we hope Viktor Gyokeres is going to shine up in the Premier League at Arsenal. And us addressing, outgoings and strengthening our defense even further. For us, mainly, this window relied heavily on our attack improving, and we finally got that all well under plan. We just hope, Arteta gets the best out of these players, and the coaching for, all of these players continue to do well. It's not long to go, 9 days till preseason. So let me just get straight into the video. Thanks to all the regulars in the chat. Rosie, Dan, good stream yesterday. That was awesome to hear. Big up, Joe. I know you're very happy about the Gyökeres signing. Hi, Malia. Hope you're well as well. And big up to Gary. Thank you for joining. And thanks to everyone watching on Twitter. I'm just going to cue the intro and we're going to get straight into the stream. We have some news to talk about in terms of updates on the Eze situation. And also, could a Eze Nelson be looking to a move to Crystal Palace? We do know that he was loaned out previously to Fulham. His loan with Fulham was terminated at the end of the season. And because Eze Nelson is out of contract at the end of this summer window, Arsenal cannot look to keep the player. They're not able to loan him out again. So it does have to be a permanent sale or termination of contract by mutual consent. We do know that Eze Nelson previously, when he had 2 years left on his deal, we were looking for 20 million for the player. No clubs wanted to pay that. But we also do know the player's preference is to stay in London. So could Crystal Palace get involved in the signing of Eze Nelson? And I think he would do well there, And this is a separate deal to Ebrice Eze and potentially a swap deal player plus cash swap deal for Josh Nichols. With that being said, let me cue the intro and I'll break this down to you guys piece by piece, bit by bit. Make sure you guys like the video if you haven't already. I appreciate everyone tuned in on YouTube directly and on Twitter. Those of you watching on Twitter, if you do click the link in my Twitter profile, you'll see my YouTube channel link, and I'd appreciate all of your guys' support. I'm currently on the road to 10,500 subs. So if we could get that by the end of this transfer window, that would be awesome. I'm not far from it. I think I'm about 50 subs away, which is nice. I'm really proud of myself for being consistent this week and last week. I know this week just started, but it's a lot better than what I used to do, where I would go like live once a month. Anyway, let me get into the intro and we'll get started on this stream. So first things first, I think we all need to talk about the striker situation. People panicked in the name of God saying, are Arsenal going to fumble the bag on signing Viktor Gyokeres because of being short in the 5 million value for what Sporting were looking for, and trying to hold Arsenal out for signing Viktor Gyokeres. But finally yesterday, actually it was we finally got the deal agreed yet late yesterday, saying that Arsenal have now finalized the deal in terms of the fee and the breakdown of the fee after final steps in negotiations with Sporting Lisbon took place this weekend. Viktor Gyokeres will be signing a 5-year contract in place and for the Swede to join Arsenal. And David Ornstein finally gave the bomba in terms of the fee. Let me just cue the link so you guys can see what I'm talking about, those of you that haven't seen it already. I will get to your comments very shortly. 1 second. I'm just going to show you guys what David Ornstein posted. I wasn't able to go live as soon as the news broke out yesterday because I was still going through stuff. I got involved in a minor collision and it just really took a toll on me. It was the first time I got into a situation like that. But anyway, that aside, I'm very happy we finally got this deal over the line. In terms of the signing of Viktor Gyokeres to Arsenal, the new Swedish number 9, Viktor Gyokeres, the deal is worth 63.5 million euros guaranteed, with 10 million in add-ons, and the Sweden striker's representative, so his agent, waives the fee. I think he cut down 5 million in that deal to help facilitate the move, the same 5 million that the Sporting Lisbon was still trying to haggle from Arsenal. And Arsenal were refusing to be bullied in the market in terms of this situation. We knew Viktor Gyokeres had the player power advantage in terms of him forcing a move. He refused to go to training to Sporting Lisbon. He refused to report on duty to Sporting Lisbon. He cut off his girlfriend in Portugal. He wasn't letting anything stop his move to Arsenal. And regardless of Manchester United approaching the player several times, Viktor Gyokeres said, when Arsenal knock, it is a different type of knock. And he said, I only want to move to Arsenal. And he's proven it. So the next thing it is for him is, put your money where your mouth is and show it on the pitch. Against Ruben Amorim, that game week 1, that first game at Old Trafford, I hope this guy bags and I hope he continues to do well. We finally have someone who's a prolific striker in the Portuguese league. We hope he converts it in the Premier League. And I do think this is going to be awesome for us. This is a very good signing for us. Hopefully it transpires in the Premier League. As someone who really wanted Sesko, RB Leipzig were playing hard ball for us. And the only reason I really wanted Sesko in terms of his trajectory, I think Sesko was highly wanted in terms of his ceiling wise in the future. It would be more of a project signing, which is what Arteta likes to do. Or even someone like Watkins, who has already played in the Premier League, but then you can argue Watkins is a lot older. Anyway, we've got our bagsman now. We've got our gunman in Viktor Gyokeres, Viktor Glock 9, or I think he's going to get the number 14. I'm not sure what number he's going to get. A lot of people keep asking what kit number he's going to get to give him the number 14 or to take the number 9 off Gabriel Jesus, which I don't see Arsenal doing, although it sounds nice phonetically to say Viktor Glock 9. But the Swede is he's going to be doing the paperwork with Arsenal, and it was reported yesterday that he's already in London. I've never seen a player so much that wanted to play for us and proved that he can bag it in the Premier League. He scored against Man City in the Champions League. It's not no Plymouth, it's not no Cardiff City, no disrespect to them, but he's shown it on the big stage in the Champions League, and we hope he continues to do that when he joins Arsenal in the Premier League. So in terms of that deal, we finally got the green light. Things are finally going into place with Viktor Gyokeres, and the Swede is set to join Arsenal in preseason. Now I am going to share some exclusive news on what was reported with the situation of Eberechi Eze. The situation of Eberechi Eze, like I shared last time, was Arsenal were looking to offer Josh Nichols, the academy player, plus cash to do a player plus cash swap deal for the likes of Eberechi Eze. As you guys know, Eberechi Eze was previously in our academy, and personal terms is not an issue. But I did say in my last stream, just because a player agrees personal terms, it doesn't really mean anything concrete. And in fact, I don't believe that Arsenal have begun direct negotiations just yet. The player will return from holiday this week to London, and I think slowly we'll finally see movement. At the moment, I don't think there's been any movement on this deal, but the new information I do have to say is player plus cash swap deal being discussed, but no idea who the player is. Team News and Ticks last week revealed the player was Josh Nichols, and in fact, I do need to add AFC Amden, who is a reliable ITK in the past. He said that Eze Nelson is being discussed as a player plus cash, as a player move, permanent move to Crystal Palace in a separate deal because of PSR. I am just going to get you guys that tweet there. So Crystal Palace could be getting two players off of us, Josh Nichols and Eze Nelson. Eze Nelson being a permanent move. I do think Palace have demonstrated they're clearly interested in the signing of Eze Nelson, but it would be a separate move because of PSR rules, and we don't want to cross the line with PSR. I'm just looking for the tweet now so I can show you guys what he said exactly. So Palace have a lot going on in the last few weeks. As we know, they were hard done by. And he says here they're a hard target from the Arsenal side. He's a key target, hence my confidence. Palace have had a lot going on in the last few weeks, and the outcome will influence the shape of the Eze deal. So from my understanding, what was reported was there's a separate deal in place to sell Eze Nelson permanently. We knew last window when Eze Nelson went to Fulham that because he has family dependent on him, which is kind of sad, he didn't really want to go away from home. And some players get homesick. I know Guendouzi is a different example, but, he got homesick. So I think someone like Eze Nelson, who's used to London, who likes the culture of London, doesn't want to go far from home. Palace is still in London, and he'll still be able to facilitate, his family that depends on him. It would be two separate deals. Exactly what I said, Daniel. Thanks for joining. Congratulations on Chelsea winning the Club World Cup for a second time, with Donald Trump joining in on your celebrations. And more importantly, Cole Palmer doing a brace on the big stage. That was a good game for you guys. Joe Pedro showing that he has levels to him. I mean, I always talked about Brighton. Their scouting system that Brighton use is off the walls. Brighton's scouting system is incredibly good. And like the good signing from you guys to take Joao Pedro. And I think Newcastle were interested in Joao Pedro in the first place because he can play multiple positions, like someone like an Ekitike is more restricted in terms of versatility. So I think that's why Newcastle also wanted Joao Pedro, but Chelsea got him. Have Chelsea sign Trump. He is a right winger. Good joke. I did see Trump getting involved in their celebrations, and right away I said you wouldn't see Kamala Harris or Joe Biden doing that. Joe Biden wouldn't even be able to move his muscles just to do the cold celebration. So congratulations to Chelsea in the Club World Cup. It's only the Club World Cup now. They changed the old competition to something else. It's international champions instead. Oh, okay. Um, I know you guys won it before just because they changed the name. It's like when they changed the name of the Carabao Cup and Carling Cup. I still call it the Carling Cup sometimes. Hi, Sam. Hope you're doing well. Good stream on the weekend for the tennis and for the Club World Cup final. For us to get a double stream on the same day from Slags in the Dark, it's almost like we won the lottery. Hi, Prime. Big up to you. Another Chelsea fan in the chat that I highly respect. He says, Chelsea Football Club, champions of the world. You guys done it on the big stage. And, both those goals from Cole Palmer was quite brilliant finishes. But I think, I have to give a lot of credit to Joe Pedro, even in the game against Fluminense, his former boyhood club, for him to score against them. And, respects to Thiago Silva, but they did get eliminated. And you beat what was in front of you. You guys had a good final. It was awesome. It was a good watch. Even though, of course, as Arsenal fans, we're not quite happy with Chelsea winning another trophy, but it is what it is. And I'll give credit when where it's due. Hi, Anthony. Hope you're well. Hope you're having a good day so far. Abu says they need a big squad because of Europe. Yeah, they're in Europa Conference League now. I did see on the weekend that, Palace got hard done by, even made an example of, even though Man City got away with the same situation or similar situation, yet Palace are the ones who get demoted to Conference League. Big up, Rosie. Thanks so much. Thanks to everyone watching on Twitter. So in terms of Abriche Eze, I don't think we're going to see any movement in terms of discussions on what will happen moving forward for the player. I know we were looking at, I know there's been reports saying that we're looking at Xavi Simons. I don't believe that to be true. I think Xavi Simons is really good for his country, but for a club, I don't think he's been a prolific player on that side. Flanks. Even you could say the same thing for Nico Williams this season. He didn't necessarily have the best of seasons. And, in the end, he decided to stay at Athletic Bilbao. There was also news today that Arsenal will focus on departures soon, with Zinchenko, Fabio Vieira, Kivior, and Reece Nelson all potentially leaving the club this summer. Leandro Trossard unsure of signing a new deal. I believe they began talking about new deal discussions as early as January, like early on in the year, but it wasn't progressing to something fruitful. And it's looking like Leandro Trossard could be leaving. We do know Fenerbahce were interested in Leandro Trossard. I just hope any club that comes in for Trossard pays as close to the 20 million euro evaluation that we quoted for him. And, I've said it before, he's been influential in some of our Champions League games, off the bench, making a good impact for us. And I just wish him the best wherever he goes. I think he's been a good servant for the club, but it's time to move on. And if that means we get someone like a Rodrigo, or if that means we get, an Anthony Gordon, that would be awesome for this club. Anthony Gordon is such a prolific player. If you've seen him play, but the thing that, is upsetting is I do think that Newcastle would evaluate the player at 100 million. There's no way Newcastle would sell a player like Anthony Gordon for less than 100 million. We saw Jack Grealish go several years ago, and I know it's not necessarily the same type of player profile or the same age. We know Jack Grealish is a lot older now, but we saw Jack Grealish go as a record transfer for 100 million way back when, several years ago. So, as someone as young and prolific as Anthony Gordon, I do think Newcastle would ask for nothing less or nothing short of 100 million. He's a quality player. Hi Jabril, how you doing, man? Did you watch the game yesterday? He says, remember, I'm a Chelsea fan. How you doing? Yes, Jabril, I remember. It's been a while since we talked on Spaces about basketball, but congratulations on Chelsea winning the Club World Cup. I think it's the third time I've said it in the stream alone, more than I've said the fee for Viktor Gyokeres. But big ups to all the Chelsea fans. Enjoy your time and enjoy your signing in a player like Joe Pedro. Would you all be excited to get Anthony Gordon? Rosie, I'd bite your hand off right now if you told me Arsenal have the opportunity to sign Anthony Gordon. But I just don't see us spending that kind of money. We've already spent a lot in terms of the Viktor Gyokeres signing, Madueke, Christian Norgard, Zubamendi getting done early in the window, Kepa as a backup for only 5 million, which was, the most expensive goalkeeper signing for Chelsea. at the time. Christian the Valencia center back Christian Mosquera, and potentially I do think I'm quite confident that we'll sign Eberechi Eze. I don't think Arsenal are the type of club to do the man dirty twice. Like, we released him from the academy, we're showing extreme interest in him, but I think it's a matter of Eze or Rodrigo. I'd be surprised if we were to sign both. And as I've said in my previous streams, Malia hits the nail on the head. Arsenal have done Zubamendi, Mosquera, Madueke, Viktor Gyokeres. I don't know if I said Zubamendi already. Meanwhile, Manchester United are still begging Brentford to release and to agree a fee for Mbeumo. It's crazy. United are moving very, very slow in the market. Newcastle fans, it's not even been a week of Edu going there, and Nottingham Forest fans want Edu out already. You're seeing posts on social media of Nottingham Forest fans expressing their frustrations. And then we saw this deal with Morgan Gibbs White collapse, and Tottenham don't get him. I mean, tears and joy to my eyes and to my ears as I heard the Morgan Gibbs White deal is on the verge of collapsing and currently in the dark. Spurs must have done something really, really bad, because players get tapped up and poached all the time. Pause, I don't mean anything inappropriate, but players get, poached all the time from other clubs in terms of transfers. But Tottenham must have done something really wrong if they're being taken legal action against and being sued from. So that's all I have to say with that. How do you guys feel about the selling of Reece Nelson? He did go on loan to Fulham. I don't really think he had a enticing loan spell, but in the beginning he did do quite well. The thing that happened was he did get injured for a while of the season at Fulham. As someone that likes Reece Nelson, I'm quite upset that we have to sell him and we have to let him go. But, as we always say, no player is bigger than the club. And last season, I felt like we could have really used him. Ethan Waneri, we tried to incorporate him a lot, and I do think he's shown more effort in this team than what Reece Nelson has in the past. Maybe you could say Reece Nelson has been a bit of a lazy player and not really developed as much as the likes of Ethan Waneri physicality-wise. And, on the pitch, it transpired. I wish Reece Nelson all the best if he goes to a team like Crystal Palace. My friend just said here, Crystal Palace needs several players to stay up in the Conference League. And I do think Brentford would be one of those teams that get demoted. I think they would be relegated this upcoming season. And we are going to do a Premier League predictions this stream to talk about how I think the predictions are going to go. Where do I see Arsenal finishing, and where do I see Liverpool? Do I think Liverpool are going to retain the Premier League? I will do a separate stream to talk about that sometime this week. Ekitike, tell me what's wrong. Every time I hear the name Ekitike, Rosie, that's stuck in my head because of you. Abu, thank you. He says Ekitike's agents in Newcastle to finalize the deal. Wow, this deal's getting done fast. I mean, at the start of the window, we saw Liverpool were interested in Ekitike. But then we saw them getting the replacement of Fabian Wirtz. I mean, what a signing of the transfer window. Signing of the season is Fabian Wirtz in terms of the transfer window itself. And I do think they are now looking to offload Darwin Núñez and Lucho, which is Luis Diaz. I know Barcelona were interested in Luis Diaz, but at the moment, those talks have gone quiet. Ekitike is looking like he will be the Callum Wilson replacement, as Callum Wilson is officially a free agent, joining Aubameyang, Thomas Partey in the free agency list, and even Tomiyasu at the moment. He doesn't have a new club. From the consensus, big up JPT. How you doing, my brother? Congratulations on winning the Club World Cup. I did see your stream. I know you weren't on the panel, but I did see you in the chat on Wolfie's channel. I was watching there when they were doing the Club World Cup final watch along. And it was nice to see you guys happy about Chelsea after a while. You had a good season, even, winning the Conference League. Chelsea were expected to win the Conference League with the team that you had. 80 million euro deal for Ekitike. Oh, wow. Mohammed says, get Eze home. The signing announcement video of Eberechi Eze, I do think that's going to be an emotional announcement video. I do think they'll use pictures and videos of when he was in the academy. Although he was released from the academy, I do think they'll show him in the academy and then him now wanting to sign for Arsenal. You know, I did say earlier, when Arsenal knock, it is a different type of knock, and Arsenal have shown that this window. I just, you know, it's clear Arteta, even last transfer window in the summer, he wanted all his players in for preseason. There's 9 days to go until the preseason begins. Some of you guys might be watching those games. Some of you guys might not be interested in those games, but I'm going to be doing watch alongs for those games. If you guys haven't already seen on my channel, I've scheduled the first game of the season, which is Old Trafford away. There were reports that Onana is injured and he might not be back for the first game of the season. He's already sustained an injury and he's set to miss 6 to 8 weeks due to a hamstring injury, so I don't think he'll be back. It's sad because I wanted Viktor Gyokeres and Declan Rice to take turns scoring against Onana. It's quite easy to break through that Manchester United defense, but then again, our record at Old Trafford in the recent years hasn't been that good. I really hope we start the season off strong. We do have some tough games coming up. We have Anfield away as well, and then Leeds at home. Leeds away, when we play them later in the season at Ellen Road, is going to be a tough game. We also don't really have a good record at Ellen Road either. Luka Modric just joined AC Milan on a 1-year deal plus an option to extend until 2027. It's such a shame, though, with the Luka Modric signing, and I know this is off topic from Arsenal, but Luka Modric's last game was against PSG, and they got absolutely smoked. But you guys know what Luka Modric offers, and he's been phenomenal at Real Madrid, like Mozart, a magician in that midfield. So wish him all the best at AC Milan. Chelsea do look good with Joao Pedro, but let's see how they get on when it counts. Chelsea having no preseason either. Yeah, because they went all the way to the final. Their players will now get a holiday. They'll get a bit of a break. They went right into the Club World Cup. And that's why Chelsea did most of their business in the beginning, just like Man City with Cherki and the some of the signings that they've had brought in this window. I think Man City are looking to offload Jack Grealish, and I do think he'll be going to Newcastle. It'll be interesting to see how he does there. And Mahamadou Sangare, he signed a contract with Man City, leaving PSG just last week. And it'll be interesting to see how Jack Grealish does there. You guys know Kyle Walker went to Burnley. I still can't believe he's gone there. I mean, that announcement video was class. You have to give it to Burnley. Their announcement videos are quite well done. I don't think Arsenal are going to do announcement videos like that unless it's a major signing. But I do think this Eze announcement video is going to be quality. The Club World Cup was the preseason. Let them rest for the friendlies and send the under-18s. Yeah, Daniel Washington and all these youngsters, maybe you can play them in the friendlies. Are your friendlies in London, or are they also in the States? Let me know. I didn't look up your guys' friendly matches. We have North London Derby as well. Wow, thank you very much, Dan, for the super chat. You didn't have to do that, mate. Big up to Dan, the Gooner channel. You did a very, very nice, touching tribute to Diego Jota and his brother Andre. And we did see today that Bruno Fernandes, Ruben Amorim went to the display in Anfield for Diego Jota and his brother. May they rest in peace, the departed souls. Very tragic accident that they passed away in. Chelsea having no preseason. Yeah. I don't know if it will catch up to them. I mean, the fixtures wise, Arsenal tend to do well against, well, last season we done well against the top 6 teams. But yep, 9 days to go. We play friendly. And also England women's yesterday, they did exceptionally well. My girl, Alicia Russo. I mean, I can't rave about her enough. She's incredible. Yeah, Luka Modric, the snake. But I'm quite excited to see how Arsenal will do in preseason. I don't think we'll get Eze in time for preseason, but then again, we wrapped up the Madueke signing in less than 24 hours. And I do think that's a deal that we can get done pretty much wrapped up quickly, offering Josh Nichols and then doing a separate deal for the sale of Reece Nelson would be good. Alexander Zinchenko, I quite like Zinchenko, contrary to public opinion in terms of the player profile and the player himself as left back for us. I wouldn't want to sell him. And I know people are saying the same thing for not wanting to sell Kivior. I mean, when Gabriel Magalhaes got injured, Kivior did step up in a monstrous display, home and away against Real Madrid. But in that, end Champions League run, Kivior had his best performance in an Arsenal kit. It was awesome to see. And a lot of people are saying, he shouldn't be sold. We should loan him out or this and that. But I do think that he will be sold. Previously we did see in the window that AC Milan wanted him for a while. The Serie A clubs were interested in Kivior. And I do think if the opportunity comes for the right amount of money, we'll sell him. If he's not playing, he has to go with those wages. Are you talking about Kivior? I'm assuming you're talking about Kivior and Zinchenko. These are the outgoings that we also have to do. Sambi Lukonga's situation, I still think he's registered on our books. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but I still think we have to offload Sambi Lukonga. Ekitike was also a subject of interest from Man United. Of course, who are they not interested in? Super agent Ali Barat is currently in Newcastle to finalize the Hugo Ekitike deal, around 80 million euros for the French striker from Frankfurt. So Ekitike is going to be playing alongside Isaac because Callum Wilson is officially a free agent. That's a good signing for Newcastle. And, in the past, Newcastle, I think they're learning from their mistakes in that Champions League, their first season in a long time in the Champions League. And I think Newcastle now know the caliber of players they need to survive to some extent in the Champions League. It's not always just the luck of the draw or what team's in front of you and how you do on your day, but it's also a matter of the caliber of players you have to some extent and what team you put out there. So I do think this signing is quite good for them. I mean, Ekitike has done well in the Bundesliga at Frankfurt, and we'll see how he does with Newcastle alongside Isaac. Sean Longstaff also going to Leeds. Yes, I did hear Mr. Tom talking about that on Slags in the Dark. And Rosie, I believe Rangers are wrapping up a deal to sign Connor Cody from Leicester City. I did ask you how you felt about that signing, if you were impressed, not impressed, or you were indifferent, like you didn't care about it. Let me know your thoughts. Mohammed saying, I will keep Kivior for coverage for Gabriel Magalhaes. A lot of people are saying that, but I do think the Kivior replacement is Mosquera, or even I also think that Joral Hato might be coming in to replace Tomiyasu. Joral Hato is a signing from Ajax that we've looked at in the January window. We wanted him, even last season, we wanted Joral Hato, but then he signed an extension with Ajax. I do think he'll have a good, hopefully we get him at Arsenal, but I don't know if it's still going to happen or not. Leeds want Somerville back from West Ham. I mean, Mr. Tom was saying anything's better than Melier. He's costed a lot of goals, like conceded a lot of goals for Leeds last season. Leeds in the Premier League this season. Let's see how they do. Hi, David. How are you doing? Do you have any Arsenal news for Arsenal today? Yes, I do. I've been talking about it for the past 35 minutes, my friend. But I'll summarize. We've wrapped up deal for Viktor Gyokeres. According to Fabrizio Romano, we've already finally agreed a fee, medical pending. The player is already in London with his agent. I'm assuming it's to get the paperwork signed first before he can even do his medical. Hopefully there's not an issue with his medical. We hope so. And Madueke already signed his paperwork for Arsenal. Done deal, fee agreed upon, and medical already passed. The fee for Viktor Gyokeres, I repeat, is 63.5 million euros plus 10 million in add-ons, with the agent waiving 5 million in the fee. I do think, however, the agent will get a signing on fee, so it's not really that much of a deal. I know it's not really that much of an issue or that much of problems to worry about. I don't think it's a big deal, but the waiting out on the 5 million, people will say, why were Arsenal being stingy and not paying the 5 million? Arsenal knew they had advantage because the player wanted to move. The player was clearly forcing a move, and at that point where he wasn't going to training, they knew when Manchester United tried for Viktor Gyokeres, they knew there wasn't going to be an issue in getting his him to pen to paper, or getting the deal over the line and finalized. I don't think they wanted to be bullied in the market, and they knew they can get this deal done. And credits to Andrea Berta and Arteta. Hi, Alexi. Hope you're well. Thanks to everyone watching on Twitter. Somerville is a great singer. Oh my gosh. Newcastle will be needing a new striker now. Both Callum Wilson and Longstaff gone. Could be a good deal for them with Ekitike. I also think it'll be interesting to see how Ekitike does with playing Isaac and Ekitike together, if that's how they're going to do. We'll see how their preseason goes. Can you see if Rangers has signed someone? This is for Rosie. I know Rangers were looking at Connor Cody. I told Rosie it, and then Rosie's like, yeah, they've been looking at him for a long time, but I don't even think they've got the signing done yet. So, Rosie, you have to let me know, the Rangers women's and men's team. We've signed 5 or 6 players, but no one cares about who we've signed. I think, some of your fans are just like, they just want the season to start. But in terms of Arsenal ladies, we signed Olivia Smith, record 7-figure signing record for Olivia Smith to Arsenal, who is another Canadian joining the Arsenal ladies. Hi, Luca. Thanks for joining. Mohammed says Eze is going to wear number 10 and give Gyökeres number 9 shirt. I agree with you to take the number 9 off Gabriel Jesus, but I don't see Arsenal doing that. So I think Gyökeres will get 14 and Eze will get 10. I'm curious to see where Jamie Vardy goes. I'm also wondering where Watkins will go, what will happen with the Watkins situation. I know Villa, they found a loophole with their women's team in terms of PSR and sustainability wise. And financially, they had to sell before they could buy. But now they found a loophole with their women's team. Big up, Charlie. Thank you for joining. He says Arsenal Gyökeres number 9. Yeah, I think he'll get number 14, but I could be wrong. At least we know what it's like to win a league in the last 5 years and not 20 years. Rosie, the women's team won the Champions League last season. What did Rangers women win last season, Rosie? I don't think you want to answer that, especially when Arsenal ladies slapped up Rangers women last season. That was an awesome game to watch, Rosie. We won 6-0, Rosie. I don't think you want to talk about that again, Rosie. And that was in the big Champions League under the lights, Rosie, with Caitlin Ford scoring a hat trick. I ain't worried about Chelsea, says Luca. I'm going to be doing a Premier League predictions video this week. I'll be talking about what teams I think are going to be relegated and what teams I think are going to challenge for the Premier League. And where do I think Chelsea and Man United land in terms of this equation? Okay, Fabrizio Romano just broke the news while we're live. Newcastle submit official bid today for Frankfurt for Hugo Ekitike. The proposal is higher than the 70 million euros previously offered by another club this summer. So that's either Liverpool or United. With Newcastle pushing to get the deal done, negotiations are underway, and we already know that the agent is in London. So this deal could be wrapped up pretty quick. In terms of outgoings, I am not worried about outgoings, but I will have to reiterate the fact that outgoings are just as important as incomings. I mean, we should at least try to get some player sales up with whoever we can. Kivior, Zinchenko, Fabrizio saw your stream. I wish. I think it was Sam CR Reports who shared the Hugo Ekitike news, and I should put on notifications for him. I wish I got Fabrizio on here, but man, his fees are quite high. I haven't even tried to email him though. But I know when my friend Steven had him on, it was when he used to work for Sky Italia. Hi Ian, long time no see. Very good show earlier by Sophie on Hybrid Squad with Tom Canton. They were talking about the Andrea Berta and how, the business that he's done. Previously, Arsenal with this Viktor Gyokeres deal, they would have walked away, and they would have not signed a striker this window. They would have just because we were being haggled by RB Leipzig. They weren't really budging. We told Watkins' agent to wait, but I don't think there was anything solidified there. I think we would have came out of Portugal with no striker whatsoever. And in the past, I don't think there would have been a situation where we would have got a striker. We would have walked away and said, we'll go another season without a striker and just play Havertz and Mikel Merino as a makeshift striker. So I'm glad that we refused to be bullied in the market, and we stood our ground, and we got what we wanted. One of our top 3 targets: Isaac, Sesko, and Gyökeres, or Watkins. Top 4 targets, you can say. And once Isaac was off the cards, it was Benjamin Sesko or Viktor Gyokeres or Watkins in terms of the order in which we were looking at. I'm glad we got one of our top targets and didn't leave without no striker signing. In terms of preseason, 9 days to go for our preseason. I will be doing watch longs for the preseason games. Christian Mosquera will be joining Arsenal in the preseason, and also Viktor Gyokeres, which will be awesome to see how he does. I'm quite looking forward to preseason, more importantly because I miss watching Arsenal. I know I see some of the Arsenal ladies for England ladies, and for the women's Euros, but it's not really the same as watching them play for your club versus the country. Hi 305, how you doing, man? It's been a while. Happy Monday. Hope you're having a good start to your week. 305, hope you had a good holiday. Lay it on the line. No more hockey. Soon it's going to be NFL preseason, which will be awesome. I'll be doing Arsenal women's content on my channel more regularly this season. And I'm also trying to be much more consistent. I know it's easier said than done, but I do want to take my channel up a notch. And I know that if I put in more effort, I can do so. Thanks to 4,800 people watching on Twitter and on YouTube. Appreciate everyone tuned in. That's all I have for Arsenal news today. We should be getting a here we go later tonight for Viktor Gyokeres, as we still don't have the official here we go from Fabrizio Romano, but there's no issue in terms of the signing. The deal is finally sealed, and a fee agreed upon working on the weekend. I'm looking forward to the preseason games. I'll be doing watch longs for those games. I'm sorry I didn't do the Club World Cup watch long, even though I had it scheduled. I canceled my watch long. My mood was a bit disrupted as I was involved in a minor collision on Saturday afternoon. I'm okay, thankfully, and I know metal can be replaced. It's not the worst case situation, and I'm glad I'm still here to be able to share all things Arsenal and share my passion with all of you. Thanks to everyone in the chat who's been here. I appreciate all my moderators, all the regulars. We will be live in Wednesday for another Arsenal news update video. And then Thursday, I'll be doing my Premier League predictions 25-26. I'm talking about on Twitter and YouTube. So if you use your ears, you can listen carefully instead of waffling, Luca. Thanks to everyone who's joined on YouTube and Twitter. Those of you who were watching on YouTube and sharing my stream on YouTube, I really appreciate it. And those of you on Twitter, if you click the link in my profile, you can see my YouTube page. I'm on the road to 10.5K. I just do a lot of Arsenal content and a lot of Arsenal videos. I share my opinion as it is, and I give reliable sources in terms of Arsenal news updates. And we'll be live in 2 days' time for another transfer update. Hopefully by then we'll see Mosquera announced. I did hear, though, that tomorrow we'll get the transfer video for Noni Madueke. So we'll hear an Arsenal official announcement tomorrow for Madueke, unless there's any delays. But at this moment, I do think it will be tomorrow for the official announcement of Noni Madueke to Arsenal. And I know a lot of us are not happy with this signing, mainly because of the fee, but as a backup to Bukayo Saka, and he might not even play that much to achieve the add-ons, The minute any player wears that Arsenal shirt, you want them to do well. You want them to be a part of the team, and you want them to excel. So I wish him all the best at Arsenal. I'm very sorry for the abuse that he endured from certain Arsenal fans. I wasn't part of any of the petitions or nonsense going on, but I hope he does well, and I hope he puts his best effort whenever he's called upon. Um, we saw Madueke do his medical today. Yes, he did pass his medical. And Mohammed's right. It's the club he's coming from. A lot of people have reservations against us funding Chelsea's next move. But, Mohammed, I do have to say it's Mikel Arteta that wanted Madueke. And I know people will say, if you wanted Madueke, why don't you get him from PSV? He was quite good at PSV. But it is what it is. None of these petitions would have stopped this signing. None of this damaging graffiti in the tunnel on the way to the Emirates. This is all childish and very immature stuff. And it wouldn't have stopped a signing that Arteta wanted. It's very immature from fans that did that, or people who claim to be fans that did that and throwing abuse to him. But that's all I wanted to say. Thanks to everyone who joined. Gyökeres to Arsenal, a done deal. Madueke passes his medical, and could Reece Nelson potentially be on his way to Crystal Palace, with Eze joining Arsenal in 2 separate deals. Arsenal live news today, and that's all for me, folks. I'll see you all on Wednesday. Adios, everyone. Thanks for joining. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye, everyone. Have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you all on Wednesday. Please make sure to hit the notification bell if you haven't already. Please do like the video if you like my content. I do have a lot of other Arsenal videos on my channel, and I did break the news of Noni Madueke to Arsenal while I was live just a few days ago. So if you do click here, you can see all my other content on my channel, and I also cover some FPL content as well. We will be renewing my FPL league this season. So if you do want to get involved, I'll be sharing the code once that goes underway. Thanks to everyone for watching. Have a good rest of your evening. Take care, everyone. And I'll see you all next time.